Yeah, so the future right now for me is in the process of launching my empowerment brand that's called Rebirth Custom Brand. I'm also have another anthology book that's coming out in August of this year. It's called Women in Heels. Uh, Power of Women in Heels. I'm sorry, and that's like another inspirational book of how we overcame and how we stepped on the enemy's head. So I have that, and that's already in the talks of being a bestseller. I'm collaborated with some amazing, powerful women.
Alright, everybody, welcome to Just for Women Africa. My name is Olalekan Amusa, and today we're on a Zoom interview all the way from Texas in America. We have with us been interviewed Shay Anderson, Amazon's best-selling author, right, for her book Moms Who Boss It Up. And before we start the interview, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, tell a friend who knows a friend about Just for Women Africa. All right, Shay, you're welcome to the interview. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on your show.
So before we start talking about your book and what made you motivate you to start the book, could you just tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I am a mom of two, a writer, actress, model, and speaker. And the book came along. I was in a dark time in my life, and I did a lot of fasting and praying and journaling. And I remember one day I was in a deep depression, and I remember God saying, it's time for you to tell your story. So fast forward 4 years later, I was always journaling, like I'm gonna be a best-selling author and things like that. Had no intention of being a writer. I was just trying to speak life into myself. And when I moved to Houston last year of 2021, my aunt connected me with a lady named Tam Luck, and she's like, you need to connect with her. She needs to hear your story. And I'm like, okay, T, I felt like the timing wasn't right, but God had other plans. So one day I was over her house, and I was going over to help her for something, and she just called Tam. She's like, no, you need to talk to her now. So I got to talking to Tam, and I told her a little backstory about, some things that I've been through and overcame. And she was like, I need you in this book. I need one more author. It features 15 authors. And she's like, you're the last person I've been looking for this spot to fill for like the last month or so. She's like, I need you in this book. And it just happened, and it went from there.
Okay, that's great to hear. So basically, what motivated you to write the book? Basically, it's talking about post-pandemic, which I believe is the COVID. So what basically motivated you? First of all, how many people did you interview?
It's 15 co-authors in the book. So each one, we all have our own story of things, like an inspiration, motivational story that we have overcame.
Okay, all right. So can you just tell us basically about one of the stories in the book, post-pandemic? What was the difference? What was the difference between pre-pandemic and post-pandemic? What changes actually happened in the women?
I can't speak for everyone, but for myself, I would definitely say with the pandemic and everything, it really taught me how to deal with mental health. Being isolated from everyone, your loved ones, and not being able to go out, and dealing with trauma that I already had going on before, the pandemic. So it really taught me to, I guess, cope with my emotions, and it showed me how to cope with my emotions and stuff. Just a little backstory about me is, when I was younger, I was molested and by someone that played a father figure to me. My real biological father was in prison at the time. So that resulted in me being taken away from my mom at a young age. And I went to stay with my grandma because of the situation. So just going fast forward into my adulthood, that trauma that I had, from when I was little, it became like adulthood drama. So not learning how to cope with my emotions, to have that anger and hurt and stuff built up in me. And then when the pandemic hit, it kind of tapped back into those emotions of I had abandonment issues. I felt like isolation, so it kind of taught me to how to deal with those emotions.
Okay, that's great to hear. But before you got to co-author the book, did you seek any help with trying to deal with?
I did seek therapy as I got older, but because I was in such of a dark place dealing with that, losing my mom, my best friend, 35 minutes after we had just gotten off the phone unexpectedly, getting into a bad car accident, being homeless. The therapy, I wasn't strong enough emotionally, mentally, and spiritually because I was abusing the medication. Now I can seek therapy and, it's fine. I can cope, deal with the things that I need to deal with. But in that time frame a couple years ago, I wasn't strong enough because I was just taking the medication to numb my pain and the hurt and stuff that I was going through. So at that time, in that space, I wasn't strong enough mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Fast forward to now, I am. I can deal with it. I don't have to have medication. I can seek, therapy, talk to my therapist, and work on those issues.
Okay, that's good. So right now you're no more on the medication, right?
Right, correct. No medication.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about the book. After it has been launched, it's Amazon's bestseller. How do you feel about
it? It's an amazing feeling. It was a blessing. But like I said, like years ago, God showed me a vision that I'll be a #1 bestseller author, and not having a clue that this was even going to take place. So, and I think it gave me a lot of confidence, to really believe in myself. It gave me that boost, a little bit that I kind of needed. Like, wow, I could really do anything I set my mind to do it. And as long as I'm doing what God has called me to do, I don't have anything to worry about. So it's a wonderful feeling to be able to share that experience, with my kids, my family. My kids play a major role in my life, and, they went through some things with me and those hardships and stuff. So to be able to share that moment with them, a couple weeks ago, March 31st, we held a book signing here in Houston, and just to have my kids front row and center, that was a beautiful thing.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's really good to know. Okay, so talking about the book, what year did it come out? Did it come out in 2020 or 2021?
It came out November 2021.
Okay. How long did it take you to write?
How long did it take?
To write? Mine didn't take long because I was already kind of like journaling. That's how I kind of talked myself out of depression and stuff like that. So I kind of submitted in what I had, and then we went through the editing and things like that. We did just have to trim some things down because it's 15 authors in a book, so it can't be that long. So we just had to modify some things, but it didn't take me long to do it.
Okay. So basically, after the book launch and all, what have been some of the feedback you've gotten so far? Do people do people approach you differently? Do you get a lot of DMs in your Instagram? I mean, what's the feeling been like being the #1 bestseller?
After the book, yeah, it's been great feedback. Just so many women, just reaching out to me, telling me how much I inspire them and how much I play a role, and they're so proud of me. And of course, I've been getting booked for podcasts and shows and summits, and it just opened up a whole nother avenue for me. And it's a beautiful thing, just to be able to have that positive influence on, especially other women, in the world, and being able to inspire people. So that's all I want to do, is be able to use my story to help and inspire other women of the world. So it's been a great feeling.
Okay, so the show is actually called Just for Women Africa. We interview women from all over the world with African descent in Africa and the rest of the world. A lot of women out there say that it's kind of difficult to climb up the ladder. They feel it is a man's world. They feel that there are a lot of barriers. I mean, for women, women give birth, they have to work, combining all of that. What's your advice to women out there who feel that it's a struggle to actually climb up the ladder? I mean, women like you have been able to do it. You have your book, you're doing well, you're an actress, you're a motivation speaker. What advice can you give out to women out there, in Africa, diaspora, in America, all over the world?
Yes, the most important advice I would say for me is to give another woman is to find balance. You have to be able to find a balance. Like being a single mom of two, and being a mother first before anything, and then having a business, my book, my son, attending to their needs, my daughter, and things of that nature. And plus, life is just being able to find balance, and you have to be willing to what are you going to sacrifice. Like for me, I had to sacrifice some nights of not being able to sleep. Just being able to find that something you're willing to sacrifice, but just know that the reward is going to be so much greater. And another thing I always say is just be true to yourself. Never be afraid to tell your story. Everyone goes through different life challenges. Your story may not be for everyone, but it's going to be for someone. And just, to believe in yourself, speak that life and positivity into yourself. Anytime I start to feel like I'm having a bad day, I always pray, and I always just say, I'm big on affirmations. I write out affirmations. I say affirmations, every day. And that helps me a lot. It helps me stay grounded. It helps me stay level-headed and also still have that, the balance or whatever. So being able to have a healthy balance is definitely important.
All right, that's great. All right, so what's the future for Shay Anderson after her being Amazon bestseller? What's up for the future?
Yeah, so the future right now for me is in the process of launching my empowerment brand that's called Rebirth Custom Brand. I'm also have another anthology book that's coming out in August of this year. It's called Women in Heels. Power of Women in Heels, and that's like another inspirational book of how we overcame and how we stepped on the enemy's head. So I have that, and that's already in the talks of being a bestseller. I'm collaborating with some amazing, powerful women all over the world. We're getting ready for a book tour. In July 30th, I started filming for a movie as that as well. And then plus, of course, being a mom and making sure I'm attentive to my kids' needs and their goals and the things that they want to do and accomplish. So they're wanting to get into acting, so we're looking to do a couple commercials and things like that together. So that's what I have going on over the next couple of months, and whatever else God has for me to do, just making sure I accomplish that.
Let's talk a little bit about the future book, Power Women in Heels. Would that also be co-authored, or that's going to be your book?
I'm going to be co-authored in that, and then after that book, I don't have a date yet, but then I'm releasing my own book. Okay. And it's going to have my whole life, everything in it.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about Power Women in Heels, or you want us to wait till the book comes out?
Yeah, I have to wait on that one because we're still in the contracts and the final stages. So I can't speak too much on it, but I definitely say it's going to be so powerful. It's going to be uplifting. You're going to cry, you're going to laugh, and you're going to rejoice. It's going to definitely be a powerful book.
Okay. Really great. Shay Anderson. Okay, so we're about to round up the show. For viewers who will be watching on YouTube, on the channel Just for Women Africa, and they want to get your book, can you just tell the viewers how they book to get your book?
Yeah, sure. You can go onto my website. It's www.iamshayanderson.com. That's IAMSHAYANDERSON.com. And I will be uploading a few more podcasts and shows that I did on there as well. That way you can learn a little bit more about me. And soon I'll be having my shirts for my brand apparel on there as well. But right now you can go on there to listen to us. I think it's like 1 or 2 podcasts on there. You can purchase a book and I'll send you a signed copy.
That's fantastic. All right. So, do you have any advice for? I mean, I know you've already said something. I know you've already given an advice already. But to end the show, do you have anything to say? Anything you'd like to tell people who love reading your book? People who are looking forward to your next book? People who are looking forward to seeing you on TV acting, giving a motivation speech in America, in Africa, in Europe? Do you have any advice? Anything you'd like to say?
I would just leave with this, never be afraid of the trials and tribulations and things that you go through. Use your test for a testimony for other people and your mess to turn it into a message to help and inspire and uplift, other people of the world. You never know how your story may have that positive influence on someone else. I know in the midst, when we're going through trials and tribulations, we can't see the light, but just know it's always light at the end of the tunnel. As long as you believe that, you'll be perfectly fine. And that's what I did with mine. That's how my brand, Rebirth Custom Brand, came along. Is I turned my pain into greatness. That pain that I went through, I turned it into something positive, and that's what you can do. Those life experience, the pain, the trauma and stuff you go through, turn it around for something positive. Pay for your pain. Make them pay for your pain, and that's what you do.
Okay, Shay Anderson, that's great. It's been so fantastic having you on the show. It's lovely. Look forward to reading your book. Thank you so much for coming. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you guys well as well, and continue to success, to have the positive influence that you have on your show.
All right, thank you, Shay. We really appreciate it. Bye.